of fracking. Obviously, it's an issue that hasn't gone away in New York, and I just want to get your position. Is fracking part of the energy solution
No. Fracking is a bad idea. There are serious health and safety concerns. We have to be very careful when we have energy companies like Halliburton that come in and says this is a great idea for you. We have to be very cautious because it will certainly be good for the bottom line of the energy companies. It will leave devastation in its wake. First of all, I believe that hydraulic fracturing is not safe. You might hear my opponent talk about biodegradable fracking solutions that'll be injected into to cause the fracturing of the bedrock, but not only do we not know what these biodegradable solutions might be because the energy companies aren't disclosing what the chemicals are, we have the problem with wastewater. There is water below the ground that has to be excavated in order to get to the gas reserves in the Marcellus Shale. The wastewater is toxic. It's filled with heavy metals. It's filled with benzene. The test wells that the DEC has tested have come back with unacceptable levels of radiation. Hydraulic fracturing is not safe. It's not a good idea. We have to protect our groundwater. And one other thing, banks will no longer underwrite mortgages on any land that has been subject to hydraulic fracturing. So there might be people that want to grab the lease money from the hydraulic fracturing. Their land will be forever worthless after the fracturing is completed.
The last word is going to be yours, Dr.
In this country, we keep trying until we get it right. That's number one. Number two, as my opponent has said, there are now biodegradable organic solvents that can be used. There are also companies that will turn the fracking water into potable water again. Number three.
Would you drink that?
As a matter of fact, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, especially after using organic solvents.
I will make sure no one has to drink fracking wastewater. It's outrageous.
Thank you very much. Okay, now the other elements to remember is number one, we've been studying this now and will continue to study it, and I supported the moratorium until we had the DEC findings. That's number one. Number two.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. You said you supported the moratorium.
I supported the moratorium on fracking. You have to remember, at this point, Lisa Jackson, the commissioner of the EPA, and Barack Obama, okay, and every state, 48 states except for New York and Vermont, have approved hydrofracking. That's number two. Obama has given his blessing, if done properly. And I will tell you something. Number one, I will only do it if it's done properly, if we have found it to be absolutely safe, and it will be heavily regulated. And the companies will need to let us know what the solvents are in there. They will ultimately be, I will tell you right now, I believe in the free market, but yes, here in New York, they're going to make less money because they're going to be more regulated and more overseen and using the proper materials to make sure that our environment is safe. I have enough environmental creds right now to say that we can. I believe that ultimately, so long as they find it safe to do, we can do it, and we can be the beacon on the hill to show everybody how to do it right.
As far as environmental credentials, I've been endorsed by the New York League of Conservation Voters. My opponent started out this debate talking about how there's too much regulation, and now he says he wants more regulation. My opponent is grasping at straws.
It's called case by case.
Hydraulic fracturing is a bad idea.
You know what?
Happen.
All right, gentlemen.
As usual, one size doesn't fit all. This is an area that we should have regulated so long as we can do it. We're talking about $1 billion worth of revenue to the state. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of jobs right now and revenue that we desperately need if it's done properly, and I will not allow. Yes, you're right. I'm not a one-size-fits-all, Mr. Opponent. I will want this regulated. The companies want to get this. Fine, you can do it, but you're going to do it on our oversight. Yes, this is not a matter of small business. This is not a matter of making New York more business friendly. This is a jobs and revenue issue.